Hi everyone! Today we're going to make a really fun, functional, compartmentalized pencil case out of 6 sheets of paper, and it has 6 compartments. You can hold makeup brushes, pencils, pens. It's great for an office. It's very sturdy, and we're just making it out of paper. We need 6 sheets. These are 7 inches square. This is kind of a medium weight paper. It's a scrapbook paper. It's not really lightweight, but it's not cardstock, so it's kind of a nice in-between weight. I'm not really sure of the weight, but just something that you can fold that's nice and sturdy. You'll need 6 of those, and then you need 6 little cards, and that's to go inside the little white squares. These are 3 1/4 by 1 and I believe 1 3/4. I will put that exact dimension in the description below. You also need, this is just a little scrap piece of cardboard. It came from a tissue box, just a little something that's about I'd say about 4 or so inches square, and then some scrap paper. This is for the bottom. You'll also need some glue and a pair of scissors. What you want to do is I'm going to put these away for a sec, and I'm going to bring out one here. What we need to do is fold 6 exactly the same. So I'm going to start the folding. You fold the paper in half. And make sure your creases are nice and sharp and perfect. Unfold and fold it in half in the other direction. Now unfold it and fold your outer corners or outer long edges to the center. And we're going to fold the other side to meet that last fold. I'm opening it up, and I'm going to fold these edges to the center. So I'm going to have 16 equal squares inside my large 7-inch square. Just folding those in. And this paper's a little thick, but you can do it with regular origami paper if you have it. It just makes for a smaller unit, and it will be a smaller case. But it still will work for shorter brushes and shorter pens and little stubby pencils. It would work great. So now I'm opening it up. We've got the 16 squares. I'm going to take on all 4 corners, I'm going to fold those corners right to that first crease intersection on all 4 sides. Just take it right to park right into that little first intersection crease on all 4. Okay, now that's done. So now I'm going to just fold these over, and it doesn't matter which you decide to do. Just depending on the paper, you can decide, like I think this would be a nice side to fold it on. So now I've got this, got these edges folded, and the next thing is I want to reinforce the folds that are already there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 folds that I need to just reinforce. I want to make sure they're nice and sharp. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my card, this little card, and this is what you'll need is your cards need to fit into the slot here. So you can always measure whatever size paper you use. Just take a measurement of the length and the width, and you can cut your cards to go inside. And this just basically makes it stronger, plus it makes it more decorative. So that's why I do that. So now what you want to do is take, basically this is going to be tucked into, this is going to be a tab, and it's going to tuck into the pockets on this side. So I'm just going to take it, now get the little ends to go inside the pocket. And now what I'm going to do is slide it, and I'm going to slide it as far as it will go until it's completely secure, and I've got this triangular shaped, which looks kind of like a name card thing. You can actually make these into great little name cards for table settings and things like that. But what I'm going to do is I want you to make 5 more. So make 6 of these, pause the video, and we'll see you when I get back, when you get back. So now I've got the 6 pieces folded and ready to go. And the next thing that you need to do is you just need to get some glue, and you can just decide how you want to arrange your pieces, and they're all going to be glued together very easily. I'm just kind of deciding which arrangement I want. I want the little solid flat pieces on the outside. So that's how I want it to be put together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start that assembly process, and I'm going to just put some glue on this side. And it takes a little, when you're working with the white glue, be generous with how much you put on, but you will also have to hold, kind of clamp the pieces together. I like to get to the edge, and if a little bit oozes out, I can always just get, squeeze it out or move it out, push it out of the way. When you assemble the pieces, just make sure they're lined up at the top and the sides before really pressing down. So I've got to make sure I can move this around a little bit until it's nice and lined up. And then the best thing to do is just hold those together, and the tighter you hold them together, the better this will work. So you want these pieces inside especially to hold really nicely. So now the next one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put glue on this side right here. And it doesn't matter if I get glue on this side because that's all going to be hidden. And this is just white glue, and I'm going to assemble by placing the next piece. And you want to go around the whole piece, and just making sure that these outside pieces are lined up nicely and not poking out or sticking out. And here comes another one. Plenty of glue, and just bring the next one in. Making sure they're lined up. And if you go kind of fast, you will be able to kind of rearrange everything while the glue's still wet. If you take a long time between, just make sure they're lined up. But I can still adjust a little bit as I go quickly here. And the last piece, I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to take the last piece, and I'm going to glue the outside, or these both sides, so I can insert it. And I'll just put a little bit more glue in the center. And now I'm just going to drop it in there and line everything up. And what you want to do is, while your glue is still wet, you really want to kind of bring these pieces, the center pieces, inside and make sure everything's lined up. And maybe clamp it, and let's wait for that to dry. So now that this piece, the glue has set, and I'm ready to make the bottom now. And what I have is a piece of cardboard, and it doesn't matter which side I draw on, but I'm going to just trace around my base, my thin cardboard. It could be a cereal box, it could be, this is a tissue box, it could be anything, but thin cardboard, you don't want it really thick. And I'm just taking my pencil and going around, making sure that I got the edges just nice and tight. So there it is, there's my template. And I'm going to cut it out. I'm going a little bit inside the line of my scissor cut, just a little bit, so it doesn't, so the base does not stick out beyond my folded case or cup. So I'm just going just a tiny bit under. So there's that, and you can see it's not a perfect hexagon, but it's close enough. And what I need to do now is to take the paper that I'm going to use as a cover, one of the pieces of paper, and I'm just using the same template because each one is going to have a unique shape, slightly unique, unless it was folded absolutely precisely perfectly, but this one wasn't. I can see it's just a little off. You can't tell, but it is off, but you won't be able to tell. So this is the outside piece. So what I'm going to do is take it, and I'm going to cut a little bit farther out than what I need. A little room, like this is about a ½ an inch, and I'm just cutting it outside just a little bit, and I'm going to take the corners where I'm going to be folding those in, and I'm cutting right at that corner, right at the edge of my tracing. And then I'm just going to trim off these. It's kind of like when you're working with clothing, when you need to sew, you've got to make your seams less bulky. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, is making those corners less bulky. I'm just going to do this, and that will help with that. Next step. Oops, one more. All right, next step. So now I've got that one piece. The other piece, I need one more. I'm just going to take another piece of paper and, oh, I think I'll use this one. Why not? This is the one, they're both, it doesn't matter because that's the part that's not going to, it's not going to even show. But I'm going to trace it. I'll just turn it around and I'll trace it here, and it's going to be the same exact size as my cardboard. So I've got basically two pieces of paper, one to cover the top and then one to cover the bottom. So it's totally covered. So this one, I'm cutting straight right to maybe just a little under, a little behind the pencil line, so it doesn't go over the sides. In fact, I'm going to kind of do that. Just there we are, like that. So I'm kind of going inside about, oh, I'd say about a 1/16 of an inch inside that. So there's a little bit of that showing. All right, so now I'm ready. Next step, I'm going to take, this is what I need to find. I need to find when I look at my hexagon, they are, because it is a little wonky. See, I got to turn it and find, I've got to find where it actually lines up perfectly. So it's going to be here. Look, no, not there. Not there. Not there. Of course, it has to be the last one. There it is. That lines up. So with that in mind, I'm just going to turn it here like this. And I'm going to put glue on the back on this. And I'm going to go over the whole thing. Lots of glue. Can get messy if I, which is good. You want it nice, lots of glue on this. Now I'm going to just put it back over so it lines up, and I'm not worried about trying to find out where that lines up. And then I'm going to take these corners and fold them in. So if I can pick it up without getting my fingers messed up. All right, so there we go, and I'm just going to roll these over. And if I need more glue, I can use more glue, but I'm hoping I won't. Doesn't look like I need to, so I'm just going to take these and bring them over. And just kind of make it tight, you know, make sure that it fits, goes nicely over those edges. It needs, this needs a little more. Okay, now that I've done that, so I've got my little corners there, and I want to make sure this looks good on this side, so I'll smooth it out. And now I need to find, this is the piece of paper I'm going to put over, so I just want to make sure it's lining up, and it looks close, but I'm going to turn it until it lines up with, till everything lines up. And it covers just the way I want it. So, of course, I've got to rotate it until I get to the last time here. This one looks like it's there, and I can also trim off just a little bit because I don't really want, I don't want my edges to go over, so I'm just trimming off a little bit. And then back to where it was. See, this is the short end. Oops, that's way up. So I just have to keep, just kind of rotate until you find, until it covers it. There it is. It covers pretty well. So now I'm just going to take glue and put the glue on the back of this. Nice amount. And I'm going to place this on top. And this is now, I've got my cover, or the bottom of my vase, or my pencil case. Now I've got to line up the same thing. I need to find how this lines up, and you just make sure it's lined up nice before I glue it down. It looks like that's the one, but I'm going to make sure. So it's good to just pick it up and just make sure it's the way it's supposed to be. And it looks fine. I can see a little part that needs to be mitered in like that. So that looks pretty close. I'm going to still check. I'm just going to go around. That's not going to work. Nope. And there it is. Nope, one more. So it was right. No. So you just want, basically, because it's like a unique shape. It's only unique to this one piece. You really need to find the one that matches. So sometimes just looking at it, you could figure it out, but it's not always easy. maybe just rotating it like that. So it looks like this is the one. Looks good. So now I'm going to just turn it over. See, I'm going to turn it like a book right here. So that it's going to go like this. So now I'm going to put a good amount of glue on the end, right in the center, and just do it on the edges, and that glue will drip a little bit. Just be careful not to drip too much. And I'm just going to go along the edges, right on the very end. I can always wipe the glue off. I'd rather have too much than not enough on this. There's probably an easier way to do this, but this is the one I know. Just put it on there. And the more, like I said, more glue is better than not enough. So it looks like I've got every little part covered, and now I'm going to just bring this up, and I'm going to put this on. And this is where you just need to apply a good amount of pressure in all of the areas that you can, and then wipe off any excess glue. But put some weight on it and hold it for a little while. And that doesn't have to be long. If you hold it for a little while, and then and just kind of press, and it is done. And now we have a beautiful, beautiful pencil case that can be used for brushes, for pens, pencils, anything. And it's very sturdy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to just kind of let me know in the comments below, or give me a thumbs up. And I'd love it if you'd subscribe, because there's more of these to come. Have a great day.